My name is Jenny Fernandez. I'm a leadership coach, branding consultant, and professor at Columbia and New York University. I have the pleasure to be here today with Lisa Rabbe. She's an external relations expert working with C-level executives in Fortune 500 companies. So now I'll let Lisa do the due diligence and introduce herself to us. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much for having me here. And hello, everyone. I am very happy to be here talking to you today. I think we're going to be talking about leadership, right?
Yes, that's right. I know from your background and your experience, you have a wealth of kind of history, obviously navigating crises, uncertainty, etc. So some of the questions that I have are in that framework. So I wanted to ask you, as an expert in in external relations, what is the role of storytelling in your leadership toolkit as you worked during different crises or times of uncertainty?
Storytelling makes the message that you're trying to impart relatable for people. I think there are a lot of PR, comms, and government relations experts who spend a lot of time wordsmithing and honing the sound bites that their CEOs will expound, whether in government meetings, media settings, etc. And what they tend to forget is you can't sell a line without a story behind. And that is something that I think some of the leaders I've worked with have struggled to embrace. You hear a lot these days about the buzzword of authentic leadership and authenticity, but the leaders who have been prepared to share, why they have a point of view on something or what they learned from a mistake genuinely and openly, I think tend to have a lot more impact with their talking points and the point of view that they're trying to put across. So storytelling really is crucial to getting your message across, understood, and fully internalized for impact.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I completely agree. And you mentioned several key factors. You talked about authenticity. And, I know that 2023 Webster's dictionary chose authenticity as a key word of the year. It's really people want to feel that connection. And when they feel that connection with a leader, they know that at the end of the day, we're all humans. So mistakes are about to happen. And I think even, again, whether you're a business leader, somebody who owns stock in the company or just a consumer, we all understand that organizations are also driven by people and are kind of organic entities. So we expect that mistakes will happen. But as you shared, when the leader takes ownership, acknowledges that something went wrong, not as desired, and they're going to take steps to correct it, it's really an approach that we all feel we can relate to. I don't know
Definitely.
if you have feels on that.
I have two examples of that. I think one of the worst case examples that we've all seen out there is when companies go through restructuring and redundancies and unemployment communications to staff. Some of these we know, maybe in the tech world, for example, have been handled abysmally. I watched one of my previous employers learn from an initial mistake of communicating very abruptly and getting in a lot of trouble for it, to really sitting down with employees and saying, we have to cut operating costs. You all know this, you all understand this. This is not a question over your value added to the company. You have added value to us, you will add value to others in the future, but we can't keep all of you and survive and thrive. And companies that learn how to do that openly and honestly, I think, do a much better job of retaining the employees that they want to retain, and they're being honest. They're being open and honest and direct. This is the situation that we're in. We're sorry about it, and let's go.
No, thank you. Again, really, really great examples. I think I'll speak first about the first one that you mentioned, because we're continuing to see layoffs coming in the tech industry, and again, treating the person as a human, the employee as a human, even though they may no longer be with the company, is something that's essential. Because one of the biggest problems that companies are seeing these days is the lack of quote unquote loyalty that some employees, especially the younger generations, have. Well, in order to gain some loyalty, you have to show some as well. in terms of how you treat the person. And you mentioned, really, again, a great toolkit to approach, which is really explain. If you're transparent, people understand it. And it helps not only those who are leaving, but also helps those who remain. Because
Absolutely.
it really creates a great culture. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I was just going to say 100%. And you reap what you sow as a leader and a communicator. And this goes right down to the micro level of giving feedback in one-to-one employee review situations, all the way up to the macro level of the company's communications to its investors and stakeholders. And if you deploy this, it sounds very simple in principle. In practice, what you find is things like litigation concern start to get in the way, and people get the leaders can lose their way because they've got various risk experts, general counsels leaning in on them and saying, oh, you could get sued, right? Some of the worst communication mistakes I've seen, whether it's in front of the US Congress or to the public after a serious disaster, have been clearly fueled. You can tell when it's been written by the litigation experts.
No, 100%. And frankly, it's very interesting because as a marketer, the first thing that comes to mind is the intangible assets. And the brand is so important.
Yeah.
And sometimes leaders don't kind of fully realize that the damage that can build if you are not authentic, if you don't show up in a way that it is addressing all the different stakeholders. And obviously the employees are the customers, are two major stakeholders.